Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So, we just wanted to get something up to tell you guys we're
We're live.
we're alive. Yeah, we're alive, and we're seeing everything that's coming through. There's been, since we communicated last, there's been so much coming through as far as channeled messages and interesting things from the guides that have come through. We are in the thick of it now. I mean, we are so in the thick of it. As we've said before, the time period between right now and 2025 is probably going to be the worst we're going to see, hopefully. It's the worst. We do expect things will slowly get better after 2025, but there's still going to be a ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
This is a process. We have a whole structure that's been in place on this planet for thousands of years, and it has to come down. More people are seeing just how, there's no other word for it. It's evil.
Mm-hmm.
It's evil with a capital E.
It is, and they have our world kind of alchemized in a way where we self-destruct if you're not fully awake. I mean fully awake to the point where you don't eat any processed foods, you don't take in any high fructose corn syrup. They have our world alchemized so that we self-destruct, and it's not that we're doing anything wrong. We're just doing what they put in front of us, which really can rattle our system.
Yeah, most definitely. We had a super busy day today with a completely packed schedule full of people. So, that was part of why we didn't get a video up, though we got up early enough to actually make one before we started on people. But we've had computer problems the whole day. The main computer we use, it didn't recognize the internet first, even though the internet's right there. We have two other sources, and they recognize the internet, although one of them we don't have a mic for at the moment because we've been using the internal mic on the laptop, and the laptop shut down, and I knew somebody was hacking into it last night. I could kind of tell that we were going to have issues. There's weird telltale signs. And then, thank you so much, Linda. Linda had donated
Yes, thank you, Linda.
a backup to us, and then I can't get the OBS Studios to take on it. It just sticks. And so, there's drivers to download there, and then that download's not working. So, it's interesting. They are trying to stop the message from getting out. That's all there is to it. They stop it in any way, shape, or form, including removing people from this realm of existence when necessary. This is how dark and how evil the system is, and the beings that control this system is. They do not value human life. They do not value the lives of animals, birds, and other wildlife on the planet at all. As we've talked about, how could they be from here with the atrocities that are committed all the time on this planet? There's no way they're from here. They have no connection to this planet. They have no connection to really us in a positive manner at all. We are nothing but cattle to them. We're nothing but a herd. And, at certain times there's this word that is most definitely a word that would have negative connotations for the cattle. When you take the cattle and they're getting prepared for market, what's that called? Begins with a C, has a U, a couple L's, an E, a D. Can you spell? Of course you could. So, there is something going on right now that is absolutely diabolical. And, it really is, I think what's going on right now is even worse than what we saw in WW2 with the NAZI apostrophe S's. Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that people don't realize the scope of what is truly happening right now on the planet.
No, that's the thing, is there's too few of us that are awake still to spread the message, or maybe we're not spreading it enough. Maybe we don't have a big a megaphone as we could. You know, when we spread the message, we have to spread it in little seeds. You have to plant seeds in people, and it has to grow. That, I think that's key, you know, because we can't be alone in doing this message. There needs to be more people awakened. When you have more people awakened, that's when the energy starts to move in our favor, kind of like a pendulum. And right now, the pendulum's kind of going the wrong way.
It is, you know. So we've gotten messages about, you know, from the Galactics about what's going on, as well as other beings such as Yeshua and other guides, and you know everything that we see going on has been sped up. The timelines of the dark side, it has, well, they put everything into hyperwarp. You know, it's warp speed right now with what they are pushing and doing. Many can feel it. Many can feel it. And one of the things that we have gotten is the need to, you know, visualize yourself drawing down light from above. Picture the way lightning looks when it strikes the night sky with a lot of different shades of purple and violet and magenta. Draw that through the crown chakra. Sweep it down through every chakra in the body, through every cell in the body, and see it removing the stuff that is accumulating to most of the people on this planet right now. Whether or not you have decided to do that big thing, that is the big decision that's being pushed on everybody, it doesn't, well, it does matter, but the fact is that we're all being exposed to these dark negative energies. Again, think in terms again of the movie Prometheus. And when the Anunnaki-like giant drinks that black goo, and what happens to him, and we see the, you know, the actual splitting of the double helix and disintegration of the cells in the body. Very, very telling scene, foretelling scene with what's really kind of occurring in a way here in the reality that we are all experiencing right now.
It is. And these are the things that we need to do. We need to look at stuff and really let things soak in so that our belief systems become hardcore strong, because that's what it's going to take to get through this. It's going to take a very strong belief system and a very strong understanding that, you know, there are entities out there who do want to help us, you know, and if things seem like they're not going our way, well, you just have this understanding and this knowing that there's someone that can see things from a different perspective than you can, and know that they are guiding you the right way, and just do the best you can. You know, what do you do when you don't know what to do? You do the next right thing. Look around you, see what's going on, figure out what is the next right thing, and continue to follow that path. And that's like the little breadcrumbs being laid out for you by your guides and by your angels.
The talking heads that we see every day, it's, how many of you are finding it impossible to believe now when you're looking at what's called official sources speaking to you, and it's just impossible to believe them? How many of you are able now to like look right into them, look into their eyes, into their souls, look into their energy patterns that are around them in their auric field, and can tell, man, they're just selling me a load of fertilizer, you know, but the type that's not even suitable for the garden. It's so apparent. It's so apparent. I know so many people are seeing right through everything. Right through everything. And that is a moringa tree, by the way. As well as some living lettuce that we had bought in the store. Ate it down to just the middle core, put it in the pot, and it's growing again. So there you go. And then we could just keep picking from the outer leaves as it continues to grow, and that's what we're doing. We have a whole bunch more we have to get into the garden. So yeah, we do have now 21 fruit bushes and trees. They're all doing pretty good, as well as a patch of different mints and thyme and rosemary and oregano and basil. And we do have in a box over here a greenhouse we're going to be putting up right next door to the cave. So, that's in the works. We just haven't had time to do that. As so many people right now are awakening, and so many people are coming to the realization that, holy crap, they are really OUTTOGETUS. Did you catch that?
I did.
Okay. It's true. And it's the bottom line. We gotta wake people up. The trajectory that we are on right now is not a good one. The Galactics shared with the timeline as it stands right now. It's not good at all. So we need to wake people up. We need to elevate the consciousness. I think we all need to speak up more wherever we can, even though we're being told to shh in every way possible. And we are being segregated into different camps. And of course, there's always that looming threat of war and other horrible things that are always being held over our heads. I don't think people can even conceive of what this place was supposed to be like and will be like, in a brief period of time. In the bigger scope of things, of course, when we look at, say, World War II, which did last from 1939 to 1945, those were 6 years of living hell for so many people. Take the people in Poland and Germany and Russia and in so many other places, a living hell for 6 long years. Well, the time period between, now and 2025, it's not as long as that, but what's coming may be even more intense than what happened then, because that was a global quote-unquote war. This is truly a global war, as in, where on this planet could you go to escape the effects of the plague upon the land and everything that it brings with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just really kind of a conundrum, because like we've stated before, they kind of know what most of us are going to react and what our actions are going to be, and they've structured everything around that. Luckily, if you are awake, you're probably not going to react the same way somebody in the mainstream is going to react, and that's going to be your saving grace, is that you have stepped outside of the box. That's what's going to save you. But you need to take it a step further. You need to really comb through the way you take care of yourself, your diet. All of your choices need to become extremely holistic. Learn as much as you can about holistic living, because that's going to save you on so many levels.
Yeah, that's why, as we've been sharing what the Galactics have been telling us, and the other guides as well, you have to be in the best shape of your life for the period that's coming up right now. You have to get your immune system as strong as possible, because the challenges are going to be there. And while there's still ample food available at the moment, that might not be the case. And, it might be the case that if you did not prepare, the only thing that's going to be available is going to be the stuff the likes of fast food, which is so contaminated with so many things. Honestly, I wouldn't feed it to a stray dog. And that's just me. There's no way I would. It's not fit for consumption, period. There's so many things that are snuck into our foods that don't need to be there. You got to ask yourself, why are they there? You got to look at these people from these different organizations. Just look at them. Look at their faces. Can't you tell when they're not being straight? Because they're not. They're not giving it to us, truthfully. And there's a reason for this. Would you tell, if the cows could talk and you could talk to the cows, would you let them know when it's time for them to go to market? Hey, by the way, guys, you're heading to market. Would you let them know? Of course you wouldn't let them know. The cows might actually jump the fence.
Right.
They might try to get the heck out,
Mm-hmm.
get out of Dodge while they can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what's going on right now. It is so insidious. It's beyond comprehension, and to most people. But again, when we do look to the atrocities that we saw, between 39 and 45, that were committed by those not just of the Nazi party, there was experiments that went on in Japan as well, with prisoners of war, and in other places. It's part of this diabolical system that's in place. Because this system is not about humanity. It's not about the planet. It's not about preserving life. It's all about greed, control, and viewing everything on this planet as a resource to be utilized, cultivated, and then, basically taken to market, so to speak, at the appropriate time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, things are basically how they have it set up now are to be used for their purpose and then thrown aside when they're done. And that's just the system that we live in. It's a very non-nurturing, non-caring kind of way that things are done. Something very much like a conveyor belt. That's what life is like. Is like, put these things on a conveyor belt. Do with it as you will, but this is how things are going to go. Very uniform, and when it's all said and done, they're just going to go in the garbage. There is no intuitive using your intuition at the job that you work at. They strip that from us. They strip the mother energy from us, and they give people a different template to follow, but it's their template. And that's where we need to free ourselves. We need to free our minds. We need to have an understanding that we're born with our own beautiful, unique template that's ours, and we should be able to express that very much like a flower. You look at a flower. Mike said the most beautiful thing today. I'm going to let him say it again because I forgot, but it was beautiful. But if you look at a flower, you don't tell a flower how to bloom. What does a flower naturally do?
I forgot what that quote was that we were
yours
talking
is
about.
awesome. If the flower, it just looks for the light.
Yes.
And it blooms on its own, and that's what Mike said today.
It's drawn to the light.
Yes.
So it's the same thing with those of us that are not of, this system. We're drawn to the light, and now is a time where we could see the darkness is so apparent, so obvious, so horrible to even comprehend. The thing is, we have to remain, and it could be almost an impossibility, because I have felt so much anger welling up in myself in the last few days, that it can be hard to deal with. But there is this detachment to be cultivated, just like when a samurai warrior would go into battle. They were viewing it in a detached way, the ones that were the most successful. When you take a Miyamoto Musashi, for those of you that are familiar with Musashi, he was in this state of Zen. It wasn't full of emotions. It was kind of a neutral state. He just knew what he had to do, and he just watched his opponent and waited for his openings. Eventually, he got so good that he, at first he was known because he wore two swords, because I have two hands, he would say. And then he got to the point where he didn't even need a sword, because he could take it away from his opponent. Whatever his opponent threw at him, he could disarm him, take it away from him. We have to basically view things along those lines. Cindy was talking about needing a belief system, a really, really strong belief system, and I would encourage you to develop a knowing system, because it's experientially that you will have that change where you no longer are believing in something and where you're trusting that something is true. It's much better to know that something's true in there. So with us, I'm blessed to have had these experiences all my life, from childhood, where I saw things, got messages from guides. I've always known that we don't die, always. We just simply transition. One door opens, another closes, and vice versa. So consciousness goes on. And now, from all the in-depth meditation and being blessed with Cindy, we've had so many interactions with guides and with beautiful beings like Yeshua, who's been working with us a lot and been helping us through so many things. There are so many benevolent beings out there, but again, the benevolent ones won't interfere with our life, our human experience. And what we, as the AC kicks on, it is a human experience. This is something that is going to enable us to grow and learn to a very, very high degree. And it might not seem like it's something that we want to go through, but it is something that will benefit us spiritually in the long run, as long as we don't give in to the darkness. That's the thing. Don't give in to the darkness. Don't succumb to the darkness. And right now they're trying to infect everybody in this world with their darkness. They want everybody to be accompanying them from lifetime to lifetime, to be part of their little group. Do you really want to be with them for multiple lifetimes? For 10 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, 1,000 lifetimes, be stuck with these same powers that be? Truly, that is truly hell.
I know. I mean, we preferably would rather you guys be with us. That's why we're out here doing the best we can, trying to figure things out, walking these paths, doing what works for us, and then what works for us, pass it on to you so that maybe you will find your way and you'll find your knowing and your understanding. And most people have had something happen to them. Like when I was little, I mean, I could see dead people, ghosts, guides, angels, all of that stuff. But there was a time in my life where I got sucked up in the system. And when their doctors are trying to supposedly fix my brain because I thought it was broken, I was always groomed and told to trust them. Trust the doctors. Trust the doctors. They're the professionals, not you. They're the ones who went to school for 16 years of their life. Not you. You must trust them. And I did. And then my life got continually worse and worse and worse. And not just my life, but the life of my very dear friend of 25 years who I lost to this system that I trusted. And that's what it took for me to turn back around and realize, wake back up. What about all of those guides you used to talk to when you were little? Bring them back. Bring them back. So I did. And here I am. It's taken about 3 years to really cultivate and reawaken, because once that pineal gland, it's made for you, you can undo a lot of the stuff that's been done. But it does take work. It does take effort.
Most definitely. And this system's in place for one thing, to maintain power and control. And it's just morphed over the years. As we've talked about it so many times, morphing from the Sumerians with the Anunnaki gods actually living in their temples physically here, the Igigi take over the basically the lineages of the Igigi still being here and ruling in their stead, with perhaps a few of the Igigis still being here from the original crew even. Meanwhile, all subjugating humanity to everything we see. All the stuff being sprayed in the skies, that's them. That's their plan. And, why do we have all these